Hey everybody, it's Jack and Dan.
And today we added some new Pothos back to the bridge tanks.
All right, guys, so here's the 3 bridge tanks that we built quite a few years ago now in Jack's room. And we decided to put some blue polars in here because we got an awesome deal and everything on them. But they're kind of little monsters, aren't they?
Yeah.
We've tried numerous different plants.
They kind of remind me of piranhas, how they just like eat everything. As you can see, they're not eating it, but they're already kind of picking at it. But once they find out that they can't consume it, they'll stop.
Yeah.
They've already tried to inspect it already.
Yeah, they're inspecting the roots because they still have a little bit of dirt on them. And that's actually kind of good for them and stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, we used to have Pothos on here. It got absolutely gigantic. We had this old top. We transplanted that. What was one of those, like 20 feet long or something like that?
Yeah.
At least 20 feet long,
Yeah,
right?
super. It's long.
Crazy. And we put them on the 220. We put them onto that tank. And we tried multiple different kind of floating plants in here and things like that. And these guys just are little monsters. And they seem to eat everything as they're growing. Maybe when they're kind of done growing, they won't as much. So we may try back to that. But the swords that we put in here do seem to kind of keep replenishing, even though they eat them. But we'll kind of see. I mean, they're in a nice deep sand, and there's, you know, lots of good stuff in there from over the years of having these tanks together. But they still kind of eat the leaves once they get bigger. So anyway, we're just going to leave those in there and see what happens to them in these end tanks. We're leaving these end tanks open so we can kind of fish these couples out, you know, one at a time, because we do have a breeding tank for these guys now that we did already take one of these pairs out and put in there. And so we'll be doing a follow-up on that. But the bridge in the middle, we're going to be putting only the roots in there. And so this is the one with the under gravel filter, and it's in the middle of this system, and basically just got this tiny little Pothos plant for like $3, clearance island marks, and put it outside for a couple weeks and watered it and let the sun hit it, and it really took off. So we just took it out of the dirt, rinsed it off, and put it in here. And as you can see, like Jack said, they're kind of picking away at this like they do everything. But the thing about Pothos is it's pretty rigid, and most things aren't going to be able to eat except for like plecos. Now there are about 4 blue phantom plecos in here. There was just one right here. I don't know where he went.
Yeah.
But they probably... there's one right there. Let me see if
Cichlids have moved around a lot, and they've populated the entirety of the 3 tanks, and they're doing pretty well and happy.
There's one of the blue phantoms. They're a little skittish. Kind of took off back behind the rock there. But they do keep it pretty clean. They go in the bridges and clean them. They go back and forth.
Because they kind of look like piranhas.
Yeah. They're just funny little dudes. They're a lot like parrots. There's a female there with the red belly, and she probably has babies in there. But again, trying to get babies out of a big system like this is hard, and that's why we made a separate breeding tank for them. So we took a nice big female, looks very much like that one there, and a nice big male that looks kind of like that one there, and put him in the breeding tank. Boy, he's a big guy, huh? And we put him in the breeding tank, and they'll probably have babies in there. And that's what we're going to be doing pretty much nonstop. If the ones that are in there continue to breed, we'll just leave them in there, but we'll probably try to continue to pick better specimens as we go along. But anyway, for this system, for no one that's ever seen this before or seen it for the first time, we had 3 different layer desks, and we wanted to add more. Jack had a small tank here. We put a 20 tall. We bridged it, and then we decided to put another 20 tall and bridge it because this is an old family heirloom, and we didn't want to get like all new dressers to increase the size. So we did something like this. We had gouramis in here for quite a few years, and a lot of those gouramis were quite old, and they finally passed away. And we decided to go with blue polars to do something fun to, fit the tank. So we have background kind of meteorite lights that light up at night, but you can see them during the day. And then this is a crossover intake that goes through a kind of a little pre-filter screen there. And then it goes up over the lights and into another hang on the back filter here, and then gets filtered and dumps into here. The water then goes from this tank through the bridge, gets through an under gravel filter here, and then through another bridge, and then back into there. But we added another hang on the back just because we had one, and it just kind of really helps to keep it extra clean and keep film off the top of this and stuff like that. So super neat. Again, you can see the swords in this one are doing about the same. They kind of grow back, and then they kind of eat them and stuff and pick at them and things like that. So whatever. we're going to just put some Pothos on. Jack doesn't want it to go nuts like it did in the other one, so if it grows...
Yeah, that was like a maximum capacity.
It was like going up into your, like, in your curtains and everything up here. It was crazy. But anyway, well, we did it as an experiment, and we also knew we wanted to put it on the 220, so we wanted it to get long, right? So anyway, we're not going to let that happen. We're just going to let it kind of drape down the sides here, let the roots develop a little bit. And we, again, probably only have it in the middle tank instead of the edge tanks. We have the blind closed, but I'm going to open it just so you guys can see one of the reasons in the afternoon that this Pothos did so well is just because it just gets hit with this sun. So from about 4-ish in the afternoon till 8, it really gets beamed. And then we have the lights on from that time until about 10 or 11 at night. So it just does really well. But anyway, just want to do a little follow-up on this system. And these guys, they're super cute. They're super awesome. They are getting pretty big. We don't know how much more they're going to grow. I mean, this guy is, getting up to, look, he's such a tough guy. He's like, what do you got? About the size of my thumb. And again, sometimes blue pullers get bigger and sometimes they don't, depending. There's a lot of different combinations of hybrids and things like that, but they are breeding and we do love them and they're super cool. We may end up taking this structure out if more of the roots kind of fill in here as these grow along the top. There are holes and stuff in here, as you can see, and those roots will go down in there. And, we may take this guy out and just let the roots go in there like we did previously, but it's just easier. Anyway, quick update on this tank. We went with the Pothos. If the sorts survive, they do. And if they don't, they don't. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Pothos is so easy. And I always thought it looked kind of nice going down the sides and sitting on the top. And it's just so easy to propagate. We could have just taken it off one of our other tanks and put it in here, but this was like a really lighter green that we don't have. And it does have like some markings. And it's not super fancy, but honestly, it was $3. So it's like, whatever. So it'll, do awesome in here. So that's about it. I mean, just want to do a quick follow-up on that, guys. We hope you guys are having an awesome day. Check out the playlist and everything, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.